I worked 5 different jobs while being a full-time college student, so here is a little story time where I share with you how I managed my time and how I stayed productive so that I could get my work done efficiently. I hope this video inspires you to really push past any limitations that you may put on yourself and to know that you really are capable of doing a lot. Sometimes we do too much and it's exhausting. Every single person in this world has 24 hours in a day. That is 1,440 minutes in a day. I'm someone who needs 8 hours of sleep every single night, so that means I am left with 16 hours or 960 minutes to get things done. I am someone who truly maximized all 960 minutes when I was going to college. Why am I making this video? I noticed a lot in my Instagram DMs as well as my YouTube comments in the last 3 years or so where a lot of people call me productive. I like my productive routines or my morning routines. A lot of people wonder why I'm productive all the time, and to be honest, I wonder the same thing. Why am I like this? I actually reference this time period quite a lot, and it's I worked 5 jobs while going to college. I feel like that was such a huge turning point in my life, but I never fully talked about it. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what that time was like for me and how it really changed me, and hopefully that motivates you. So this is that story. Let us begin. Maya's bachelor degree, undergrad 2014. So I had just graduated my undergrad, which was 4 years of college, and I was going to go to grad school. But only by the grace of God did I finish college because I really didn't know what I wanted to do and I felt very, very lost. Then I was found. Then I decided to go to grad school for teaching. And this is where things got interesting. Maya's master degree, grad school, August 2014. My fall semester of grad school, I had to take 6 classes. At the time, I lived at home with my parents and I had to commute to my university, which was about 32 miles away. My program also required me to do 110 fieldwork hours where I volunteered at an elementary school for free and had to stick all of that in while working and going to my classes. So what were the 5 jobs, Maya? I'm glad you asked. The 5 jobs that I worked were: number 1, I worked at my church's nonprofit organization where I worked as a videographer, and I also worked as an admin. So I worked on their blog, I worked on their website, I made phone calls, but I also created some marketing videos to help promote their Sponsor a Child program for kids in Africa and Indonesia. My church was very flexible with my hours and I only had to work a minimum of 10 hours a week, so I pretty much just worked twice a week. Number 2, I was a babysitter. So during the summer times, I always worked at summer camps and I would always meet families who were looking for a babysitter, especially on the weekends when they want to go out, if they want to go out on a date, or if they want to hang out with their friends. And I particularly babysat for 3 different families. Number 3, I was a substitute teacher. So anytime a classroom teacher is sick or they have something to do, they need to call in a sub. So I was a substitute teacher for a small private Christian school as well as a giant public school system. I would get phone calls quite often, but I made it so that my classes were not on Fridays because I knew a lot of teachers were usually out on Fridays. So those were the days that I would keep open so that if I wanted to sub, I would also substitute teach on those days. A lot of teachers also had my personal number, so they would let me know in advance if they planned to be out and they would request me. Middle school and high schools were my favorite to substitute teach because they are very independent and usually the teachers will already have something for them to do independently. So while I'm there, I was able to work on my homework and then, check on the kids. Job number 4, I worked at an after-school program at a private school. So I pretty much just helped them with their homework and I also taught a few fun classes where we did some crafts and I pretty much just played with the students. And then job number 5, which I still have today, is being a house sitter. So I take care of pets, especially for families who go on vacation or they have to go on a trip for a long time. Then I go to their house, I stay at their house, I take care of their pets, their mail, water any plants that they might have, and just make sure that their house is safe. So right now I only house sit for 1 family, but I used to house sit for 3. That got to be a little too much for me because I felt like I was never home. And I am a homebody. So let's talk about logistically, what did my schedule look like? Some of my grad school classes were 3 hours, some of them were an hour and a half twice a week, and then some of them were on Saturdays for 8 hours. Now, on Saturdays, if my class was at 9 a.m., I would get out at 5 p.m. and I'd be able to babysit from 6 to 10 or 11 or midnight. I worked at my church's organization in the mornings, and then I would stick in my babysitting and my after-school program sometime in the afternoons before I had night classes. Then I would leave my Fridays open so that I could substitute teach. And house sitting was something I could do simultaneously because I just had to take care of the pets, and then I could go off and do something else and then come back and take care of them. How to organize yourself with a busy schedule. So if you have a bajillion things you have to get done, here is how I organize myself. First, I look at things that are outside of my control. For example, my class schedule was a little bit out of my control because I couldn't really dictate what times my classes were offered. So first, I would look at the catalog and figure out what classes I needed to take and which ones aligned with my schedule. If I could take a certain class a different semester, then I would look at that too, and I would just figure out which ones do I have to take right now. Once those are set in place, then I would stick in my work schedule because thankfully my work schedule was pretty flexible. And that's another thing. Finding jobs where your boss is very understanding of your education, that is such a plus. For them to trust you and to know she's going to show up when she says she's going to show up, but we can be a little bit flexible on what days she is here. That's how all of my employers were, and that was fantastic. All in all, this is to show you, practically speaking, how we can really maximize our time and how much we can really pack into our days. Now, why did I work 5 jobs and take 6 classes all in one semester? I had the future in mind. I knew that eventually when I was nearing the end of my grad program, I would have to do student teaching, which is 4 months of teaching for free with 0 pay. And at that point, it's really difficult to find a different job because I was pretty much working full-time with no pay. So thinking about that time period, I knew I had to save as much money as I could. So anytime an opportunity would come, I would think, can I, logistically speaking, fit this in? So whenever an opportunity would come where someone asks me, hey, are you available to tutor my child? Are you available to babysit? I'd always think, logistically, can I physically be there and actually do this? If the answer was yes, I would take it. And I realized I would much rather be productive and busy than being at home worrying about my future. If I could do something to better prepare for my future self, I was going to do it. So that mindset has now followed me to this day. I feel like I am always busy and I am always doing something. I'm always thinking about the future and I always have something to do. It gets exhausting and sometimes I am very tired. So I'm trying to learn how to just be still and how to relax and how to be okay being at home, not doing anything and not feeling guilty about it. So that is the next journey that I am on. But I feel like that productive mentality has been with me for the past 8 years or so because I know it works. I know that we are capable of doing a lot, but sometimes just because we can doesn't mean we need to. So I hope that encourages you to know that you can do it. If you want to see something change, go make it happen. Go use your time efficiently and do something about it. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.